All right, welcome everyone. This is a Viper Professional Training and Support webinar. Today's date is October 7th, 2019. This is a Monday night webinar, and the title of tonight's webinar is Box Trading the Right Way. And as everyone knows that's been to our webinars or our live trading room, everything that we say and do at Viper Trading Systems is for educational purposes only. Futures trading, forex trading, any kind of financial instruments trading involves risk. Therefore, there's always risk of loss. You should only trade discretionary capital, and that is money that you can afford to lose. Nothing said in this webinar, other webinars we have, our live trading room, or anything else with Viper Trading Systems should ever be construed trading or investment advice. And as always, everyone does trade at their own sole discretion. Any questions on the disclaimer? All right. What I'm going to talk about tonight is just really basically boxing in. I don't think we'll even get to trend lines because this is going to be about box trading the right way. All right. Now you should be able to see I'm on the member login area of our site, where it says welcome and your first name. So be sure if you're not familiar with how to box in, I'm going to go over as much of it as I can tonight to begin with. But if you don't know that, go down to the weekly webinars for download and download the Object Trader video ebook. It's just a click of a button and you're there. Scroll down past parameters and settings. Scroll down past using the LESC and RE, auto trades, using midband, and there's your object types. Object types are what the type of trades are with Object Trader. The region trade is that box trade we're going to talk about tonight. So if you want to know about trading this box trade, we're going to go over it in quite detail tonight, but also you can simply watch these little 7-8 minute videos. Activating a region, how to use the TNB buttons, which we're going to talk about tonight, using touch, close, touch plus, and even close plus, sizing and moving a region while it's live, adding on trades with a region, scaling out with a region, and even auto trading a region if you want to. Now on this one, I'd highly recommend make sure you know how many contracts your max contracts is set on Object Trader, because it will go to the max very possibly if you auto trade it. Okay. So anyway, be sure and go to the ebook and go to the object types and study the region trades. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to a chart. And let's see what we've got here. Go ahead and close these tabs. All right, first off, just like I teach in every single webinar that I teach, always draw on your charts or at least see it in your mind, okay? The most important swings are the lightning 3 swings. Okay, so be sure to draw lines on your chart at those lightning 3 swings. Okay, kind of important to do that. All right, and I'm going to draw one right there because I always look to the left. First one, second one. Okay, and then just draw your lines on your chart. Now you can clearly see that oil already bounced off of this one. Notice that? Came down to support and bounced, already gave a trade. Okay, so if it comes down any further, you kind of expect it very possibly to hit here. Okay, so when we talk about boxing in a trade, we're actually looking at this little area right through here for a trade. Okay, because that would be a nice little pullback, and more than likely this is even going to be a midband. We'll check that in a minute and see if it is, but that looks like a midband to me. And it may be down here possibly, but midband looks like it would be right in here to me. We designed the algorithm on it, so I kind of got an eye for it. But anyway, be sure and just draw on your charts, okay? Now, once you draw on your charts, you can also then just simply go to a template and change it to the template you're going to trade with, and it'll leave those lines on your chart right where you drew them. Okay, see those lines right there? And there's where our price is right here. See where we drew that little box right there? Now, we already missed this trade. We missed this trade. These are phantom trades. And by the way, if you want to know about phantom trades, be sure and study that video that I did that's in the members area. And it's down about 5 or 6, 7, something like that underneath the ebook. But you'll see phantom trades explained in detail, because these trades will flat make you money right here. Those trades right there, 10 tick type trades, just right and left. And 10 ticks on oil is a $100 bill. So if you got 10 ticks to Tahiti, You can certainly do it. Okay, so we won't talk about actual phantom trades tonight, but we're going to box them in if we see them. Okay, and we will definitely get more than likely a good phantom trade, because during a day you always get them. Now, whether we get one, with this particular chart is it just depends. It depends on how oil ran this morning, because I called some really good trades on oil. All right. Does everybody see how I drew on my chart though? And I know where, and see how predictor even, it drew right where we drew that box also. Now these draw in real time. So, when they draw, you can get in that habit of boxing in. For instance, this predictor drew as this price was coming down. Could you have boxed it in right here? Nice tight stop. Look to the left. You had a swing there and off it went. Absolutely. Okay. So now let's talk about how to use the box. Okay. First of all, for anybody that's new tonight, that hasn't been with us before, Object Trader is a NinjaTrader strategy. It's only built in NinjaTrader 7 at this time, although it is an 8 as we speak and being tested finally. We're testing it with live data to make sure there's no glitches and things like that in it. So I'm hoping for a short release, here in the next, who knows, not too long anyway, because it is finally in that stage. All right. But anyway, this is NinjaTrader 7 right here. So you just simply right click and go to strategies. Now, if your strategies is ever grayed out, that means that you don't have your data feed on, or you could have a free version of NinjaTrader. If you ever see strategies grayed out, you really can't use Chart Trader or strategies. You can usually use a DOM though. Okay. But if you ever have this grayed out, just always remember that it's going to be either your data feed or you're going to have something like Chart Trader turned on. If Chart Trader's turned on, your strategies will also be grayed out. See here, strategies are grayed out. You can't use Chart Trader and Object Trader at the same time. Also, if you minimize Chart Trader, it's still grayed out because Chart Trader is still on that chart. See that little arrow right there? That means that Chart Trader is on this chart. Okay, so if you want to use our strategy, just simply turn Chart Trader off and make sure your data feed's on, and you should be good to go. And then right click, go to strategies, and we'll let it load. Double click on Object Trader. Make sure that your quantity is set to the most contracts that you want to trade on a particular chart. Because if you go into like any kind of an auto mode, it can max out your contracts. So if you're only comfortable trading 2 contracts, make sure that max quantity is set at 2, and then right click and set it as your default. Okay, and in the ebook, it also talks about how to set templates. I went over that last week. Okay, and there's plenty of videos on that too in that ebook. Okay, so we're just going to simply set this and click OK, and then Object Trader will come up. Now, if Object Trader is trading in sim or replay mode, in other words, a non-live account, it will be gray, silver on this background. Okay, if this was trading live money, this is all going to be green. Okay, and it'll even do that on an evaluation account too, because basically it's a non-sim account. If it's not a sim account, it'll turn this green. Okay, so even an evaluation account with Top Stepper 1-Up will do the same thing. Okay, so now if I was going to box this in, for instance, okay, you don't just use this box. We drew on our chart with this box, but we're not going to use this box. We're going to use the box that's in Object Trader. So let's go ahead and remove those boxes real quick, and let's use our region. Now, region simply means box. We may even change that to box in Ninja 8. I can simply change the wording on it and then change where it says region in the code. It'll change to box. Would probably fix fix that to where it would just say box in. Okay, but to box it in, you just simply hit the insert key. Okay, now what Object Trader does is it looks at not the candle that's forming, but the last 2 candles, and it draws a box. Now, if these happen to be side by side, that box is going to be smaller. Okay, but it actually just looks at the 2 candles previous to the one that's trying to draw now. Okay, so when you do get this boxing in, realize that you can size it. You can do anything you want with this. Like if I wanted this trade, like right here at this predictor and off of this support right here, I would just simply tell it I want to take an inside trade. Okay, that simply means that if it fires inside this box right here within X ticks, like say if I want to do touch plus 2, that would mean that with this box being set at 76, that it should fire a trade at 78 or 79. Now, if you really want it to hit this area right here, you can always say, you know what, I want it to touch plus 1. Okay, and then it'll fire a tick above that instead. And if it just blows through this, it shouldn't fire at all, but it does require one confirmation tick going back the direction that you're going to fire the trade. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and set this. And the way you do this, to activate the box, you just simply turn on the LE, which means long enabled. Okay, now if I was going to short this, if it goes out the bottom of the box, I would use short out and turn that on also. Now this is an uptrend, so I'm not going to do that. Okay, see, this is a pretty good uptrend. So, you know, always be careful, you know, boxing in. Just for instance, if it just breaks this by a couple of ticks and still bounces, you don't want to be short on this yet. You know, to me, this isn't going short until it takes out. Well, basically, see, here was like a double top yesterday when it opened. See there? You know, basically right before it closed on Friday. So that's pretty much a double top. So that swing's not identified, right? This swing is identified. And see, that's a higher low. Okay, that's where they'll try to get you. Okay, when you look at a double top, okay, and this, technically this is identified in the way we teach it because it did go up a few ticks, but you got to be real careful on larger thrusts. Okay, you want to get really good thrusts above the previous one to get higher lows. Okay, but this is a new day also. So actually the trade was down here in this phantom area, but we missed that, so we're looking for a retrace. Okay, and that's simply, if you were trading, this is the way you would do this box. I wouldn't do a short, I would do a long inside, and if it touches there, and if I didn't trust it, because I only really like phantom trades when it's this color background. And if you miss a phantom trade, you got to watch this mid-band trade. So instead of doing 2 contracts, we can actually do 1, and then we could even add, for instance, if it goes our way, like makes a little step. Okay, let me show you what I'm talking about. Let's see if we get the trade first. I'll speed this up just a little bit to show you how this box actually works. If it gets within 1 tick to the bottom of that box plus a tick up, it should fire. See if it will. And that's within 1 tick right there. Actually, that might be 2 still. That might still be 2. We'll find out. Let's see if it goes. We're patient. All right, see how it just touched it? Now, notice that I can actually in real time move my box if I want to. For instance, if I want to go ahead and fire this again, like let's say that I want to add to this, if it touches above this box, I could actually add contracts if I want to. Okay, by simply turning that back on. I could also do it in auto mode, and this would mean that anytime it gets at the parameters that Object Trader's been told to go, it will add a contract until it maxes out at 4, because that's what mine is set at is 4 contracts. Okay, so watch and see if it doesn't do that. If it gets 1 tick out of the box, or if it even comes back down within 1 tick, we could even turn it on again down here too. See? Okay, see how that added? Now that added 2 because it basically, by ticking back in and then back up, it fulfilled the fact that it's touching plus 1. Okay, so notice that we're in 3 now. Now I would probably, more than likely, tighten my stop pretty good right now, simply because we don't want to get on the wrong side of a 3 contract trade. So I'm allowing it 5 ticks with a close of a bar. Okay, now close of a bar simply means that if this touches this line, it will not fire this trade out. It will only fire the trade out if it closes below the line. And that exit on close is a really good feature in Object Trader. It's absolutely excellent. All right. Now, let's say that you hadn't even taken a trade yet. Let's just kill this. What if you were happy with $350? That's good for the day, right? But where's another trade going to set up on this chart? Anybody? By just what I taught just a few minutes ago. What do you think? Because they work. All right, see this little thrust, retrace thrust? We need to break this swing right here. But wouldn't you think that more than likely, if this thrusts up, it's going to pull back and check this area right through here? We'll draw some lines. Draw a line here. Draw a line here. All right, and let's see if it does. Watch it not do it. It just goes and takes off like a house afire. But we'll see. That's a little thrust up, isn't it? Now, could we be ready to take this if it comes back down to this line by simply using our little box? Drag it up there. Let's just do that's a swing on the left there. So let's do a touch +1, which means that it doesn't even have to get inside the box at all. It just has to get within a tick of it. Okay, let's see if that little trade will fire for us. And we'll only do one just in case, because that's a little riskier trade, but it is a kiss trade. And I take those all the time in the morning when I'm trading. Kiss trades are good. Everybody see how I'm moving this box? You know, you can actually, let's get these lines out of the way. They're where the box was. But see how you can click on the box? It's got a little move hand on it, so to speak, you know, that little crosshair. You can size it by simply dragging it. You know, for instance, if I thought it would get down here within a tick, I could actually even do something like this. Do, like, say if it touches stealth, to give an example, I could go ahead and put in a contract if I wanted to. Okay. Now, again, this is a little riskier trade than this one was. This was a perfect trade right here. This is a mid-band trade we teach, and you can take that little puppy to the bank, especially when a predictor shows up. But let's see if we can get another trade. We'll just see if it'll fire. Because remember, I killed that one. We're going to see if we can get another trade. What I'm trying to show you tonight is really how to utilize this box trading, because that's actually exactly the way we teach this system, is trading with a box. Okay, see how that got within a tick of that box and it fired the trade? That's all it took. If it gets within a tick of it again, it'll fire another contract. If it doesn't, could I chase it and say, you know what, if you go above that box, could I add one if I wanted to? Now, I'm not saying you should do this here. I'm showing you how to do it with the box. But if I move this box in real time even, it will fire that trade if that box, see, just fired. Just like that. Okay? So you can move it, and in live like that, you can actually move it just like Chart Trader. You can actually just use the box as an entry. Now, we probably don't want to do 4 when we're way up here, but if it does, it does. By the way, if you turn off auto trade, this LE won't stay on. I'll show you what I'm talking about. I'll turn that off. And if this does fire a 4th contract, it will turn this LE off because it's no longer on auto mode. In auto mode, see how that just went off there, and we just fired a 4th contract. Okay. Now, like I said, that's probably not the smartest idea that I've had all day, because, you know, this is risky enough with just one. Okay, because this support right here really needs to hold on any kind of pullback. Okay. Now, so far we're lucky, so let's go ahead and just tighten it just in case. Exit on close. Okay. Now, this is basically, this is actually a little tighter stop than I like, but if you've got like 4 contracts, you've got to protect yourself. And matter of fact, if you see it hit that top and you want to sell to, just dump them like that. It's that easy. Okay. You could add back to it if you wanted to. Simply turn that back on and it'll fire them again. Okay. Object Trader is really designed to do a phenomenal job on your charts. I mean, you know, when we first designed this, you had to hit enter to turn it on, and then you had to hit enter to turn it off. Then you could move it. Then you could hit enter again to activate it. That's no longer the case. Object Trader can actually be moved in real time and add to this trade by simply turning it on, okay, and moving it around. See, I can even, for instance, if this goes to touch, like let's say I wanted just to touch, see how that just fired that contract right there? Okay, notice that I didn't add touch plus, I just simply touched the top of it. Okay, now I can't add any more because I've got 4 on. But if let's say that I had only 2 on and I wanted to add, you just simply turn that on and follow a bar if you want to, or draw your box at like a retracement area. Okay, and you'll be amazed how this little puppy will do wonders for you on your trading. Because, you know, for instance, right back here, would you just automatically buy this, you know, down here? What kind of retracement is that? Let's see. Let's look at the fib just for the fun of it. All right, that's about a 38% retracement, a little bit more, 3 ticks maybe. Okay, so that's a decent retracement to buy. But notice that if you just buy it, it goes out of the box a little bit and it goes back in the box, you know. So couldn't you actually instead just buy this box, you know, 1 contract for now, you know, as far as that goes, if you wanted to. You could always wait for it to even break mid-band before you add another one, like when we got this little retrace, you know, not taking big chances on your chart. Will OT for NT8 be shorter? You mean this little deal right here, David? Because I'm not following you on that. It's going to be exactly like, oh, you mean this whole thing right here? This whole big chart trader looking thing? It's more than likely, I haven't seen the panel in a while. You know, I had one many months ago, and I think it's different than that now. I haven't even seen it yet. You know, he's testing with live data tonight while we speak, as a matter of fact. And I'm supposed to get a copy of it very shortly. So I'll let you know. I know that the first thing that he's doing with Object Trader 8 is making it exactly to work like 7 does. And then once we get everything tested and working on 7, we're going to be adding some things to it. You know, for instance, I've got an idea for like a stealth trade, to give an example, where you can actually change the values and things like that on the fly. I've wanted to do that for a long time. I want to add this phantom trade, you know, and I want to add a mid-band trade if you want it. You know, X ticks from mid-band to look for a trade, and actually to box. That's what I want it to do, is just automatically box. Okay, we're giving up a little bit of our money. Let's see what this is going to do. I'm going to put my stop just under the swing right there. Let's see what this does. We need a higher low if this is going to head up. Let's see if it does. Always keep in mind, I want to show you something that I find to be working real time. Let me get this out of the way for just a second. See this swing right here? High, low, little lower high by a tick. They usually wick these by a tick. So usually as a rule, you can actually put your stop literally just underneath them by a couple of ticks. And you don't even have to use exit on close. Okay? Because usually as a rule, if that's going to be a new higher low, they won't take it out. Now, if it's not going to be a new higher low, we'll probably be back at break even. Okay? Anybody have any questions on, let's see, need Shimongo monitor to have charts to look like trading room? Well, the thing is that basically what I do, you know, we've got 4 charts on in the room, but I've got 5 total monitors plus my big one. so 6 monitors that I could actually watch the swings and things like that on. So when I'm trading a chart, I'm actually trading it on a full monitor so that I can see these swings. For instance, this to me doesn't show enough of this chart. I like it more like this, something like that. Okay, because when you've got it like this, to give an example, you can see exactly where this thing should go. For instance, thrust retrace. Where is this heading? Anybody? Anybody? Well, learn this little trick right here that I've taught for a long time, and you're going to really polish up your trading skills. Isn't that more than likely going to go up in this area right in here? And we could just keep our stop in as far as that goes, right? Yeah, absolutely could. Okay, now notice that just the way I showed it, these things do this. We need to have another webinar on KISS trading, because KISS trading is definitely where it's at. You watch for these KISS trades, and they're just literally amazing how they'll do. Okay, now let's say that you're up nicely for the day, and I'm going to fast forward this a little bit. Let's just close it. All right, and I'm going to leave a line right here. All right, and you're going to get up with me at 5 a.m. and we're going to trade this, okay? Because Linda did this morning on hers, and I traded it also. But let's just go to right about 5 a.m. and I'm going to fast forward this for a moment till it gets to 5 a.m. and you tell me if you see some trades. Now, I can't trade it while I'm asleep, so I'm waiting for 5 a.m. to get up. And then let's diagnose the chart together. Little mid-band trade setting up, isn't it? That's 434. Is that a little mid-band trade right there? But I wasn't up. So let's keep going until I got up, because I'm going to show you how you can still get in trades. By the way, that's a good mid-band trade. I would probably take that little box, but we're not up yet. We're still snoring. Wife can't sleep, but husband's sleeping great, snoring. All right, here comes 5 o'clock in the morning. Okay, there's 5 a.m. Now, what do you do? Anybody? What do you think? Let's draw on the chart. Let's see. First of all, if we know where it's going, if we don't break down, because we've drawn it on our chart. Okay? So let's draw on our chart. Let's go back to our little black one first, and let's look at this one. Not gold. Let's look at oil. Oh, we'll get a webinar chart on oil. Sorry about that. Bear with me 1 second. I like this little webinar chart for people that really want to learn to see these charts. It really helps out. All right, let's just draw on our chart. Get rid of this. It's 5 a.m., so we're up. We're, eyeballs are, kind of getting acclimated to the bright lights in the trading room. Draw your lines on your chart. And look to the left to trade the right. And then we'll turn this into a regular chart here in just a moment again. All right, everybody see that? What do you think? All right, let's go ahead and turn this into a regular chart. Now you can draw this, by the way, on Lightning 3 really easy to begin with. All right, let's see where we drew our line. All right, we got a line right here. I do have another one right here that it closed on Friday, so let's draw one more, because I see another Lightning 3 swing right here. Everybody see that? All right, now let's get ready to box this little puppy in. Put Object Trader on the chart. Get our little region drawn. Let's see, it's already been to here. It's been to this swing right here. See it? It's been to that one. So they really shouldn't check that again, but they can. They can. So we'll draw a line there also. But they've already checked it. See there? Checked it. All right. Looking left to trade the right. They have not checked that swing right there, which is right there. All right. And what we're going to do is we're going to put, just in case it breaks out, and we're going to put this little box right to our swing. And let's see if we can get a trade. Everybody see how I'm drawing on this chart? Now this is a mid-band trade still. This was a deeper mid-band trade right there. And if we get a predictor, by the way, you know, like predictor's saying down here, but see, it's already hit here. You know, even though this predictor drew after that one hit, that's still showing where it should have hit. And we've already drawn on our chart, so we know where it should hit. And let's see, let's look to the left to trade the right. Still, is that a wicked candle there? Well, you do have 52.90, but I don't think they're going that low because they've already gone. See, they've already gone to 94, so I don't think they're going that low. And look to the left to trade the right. We got one at 96. There we go. We just got our trade. We're committed. All right, where's our stop? Anybody? Well, I've got a 15-tick stop on this right now. But what if this is your first trade of the day? Go ahead and look to the left to trade the right and see if you could squeeze the stop up just a little bit. You know, for instance, like right through there, close of the bar, that's only risking 9. Okay? Yeah, just right below 94, or at least the close of a bar. But you could definitely put your stop just right under 94 like that. Now that's 11 ticks right there. All right. Now, could you add to this trade though, if this trade decides to go ahead and give you like a higher low? You know, could I just go ahead and leave this turned on? You know, for instance, add to the trade. Go ahead and move our target. Where did we say our target was going? Oh, we got rid of them, didn't we? Wasn't it 53.51, wasn't it? That I drew on the chart earlier. If you ever erase your line, all you got to do is redraw it. Thrust, retrace, thrust. Yeah, close enough, right? Okay. And let's just see if we can get that trade right there on this little mid-band trade and put our stop in at a diligent spot. Now, if I had like 4 contracts on, I would probably peel one off if they even came down a little bit, because I'm not going to let them come all the way to 92 with like 4 contracts. Okay? Because if you do, what'll happen is, you know, that's 11 ticks, so that's $440. That's a pretty good amount of money to give back to the coffer, so to speak, if this, you know, doesn't decide to go on up and maybe they take this out and check Phantom instead. Okay, but we got our stop in. We got a support level right there at 92 and 94 right here. You know, can you trust a trade like that? They'll usually go against you a little bit when you get into them. See, that's a little bit against us. It's red. All right. Could I tighten this box and see if I could get another contract added to this? Sure. Sure. But now instead of taking a chance of a support bounce, I'm going to take it more of a little breakout of a box. Okay? Because see, my box is actually drawn with these little candles right here. All right? Now, if you draw the box too big, like for instance, this candle right here, that's too big of a box in my opinion. Okay? Because you'd have to break this, and you've only got to right there is resistance, which is nothing. So wouldn't it be better to actually tighten the box? See, it bounced off a mid-band. Could you add? And by the way, on the fly, you can add if you want to, or you can just simply stay at the 1. just like that. Okay. Now this little trade, like I was saying this morning, Linda actually took this trade with me this morning. We got up and we checked out the look of the charts and everything, and this is exactly how it was diagnosed. How many of you get afraid when it just starts going sideways like that and you think, gosh, I'm just going to click the button and get out of it? Well, if it makes a higher low here, like if it takes out this little box, I'm going to tighten the daylights out of my stop, because then I'll have 2 on. Okay, let's see if it does it. If it turns this little puppy green, it's going to be taking out these little swings. Let's see if it does it. Kind of slow, isn't it? Let's speed it up just a little bit. You think it was slow this morning when we were watching this 15 times normal speed. We were doing it in 1 time normal speed because it was the market. Okay, and it was like watching paint dry for a while. Okay, see, we're in 2. Okay, now wouldn't you tighten your stop just right under here? Because this is actually, you can clearly see that you got a low, a high, and a higher low right there on that bar. See that bar right there? That's a higher low. Use 2 ticks below. You could do that right there just below it. Exactly. Now see, I'm in the red a little bit again right now. Hopefully this trade's going to work out. How many of you get scared out of it yet? You're thinking, uh-oh, kind of made a mistake here. You don't have to do that. What if you decided, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead, and if this little puppy closes up, I'm going to add 1. You could do that with this box. So you're in 3 now. Higher low right here. Could you raise your stop a little bit like that? Exit on close. Less risk. By the way, just to make a long story short, I want to show you something here. That and by the way, when you get nicely green on a trade, you don't have to go for the very next level that they're shooting for, because they don't always do it in one fell swoop. But let me just speed this up and show you how this little box actually works. See how it's just meandering around? But see that higher low starting to set up right there? Not yet. Didn't take out the highs. Now it did. Could you tighten your stop underneath that? And what Linda did this morning when she saw this happen right here, she was done, because it came within just a couple of ticks of that 50 right there. And when it took that little puppy out, you don't have to give away a bunch of your money, you know, because from this target to even this line right here is 12 ticks. Well, that's $120. And she was very happy with her $570 for the day. She was tickled pink with it, as a matter of fact. Could you put on white bars, David? You mean the bars themselves? You can change the bar colors to any color you want. Absolutely. Yeah, Gene, go ahead and ask something. I'll be happy to answer it. Go ahead and just type it in, and I'll be happy to answer it. By the way, this was at 5 o'clock in the morning, but I'm going to show you something that you can actually literally just take to the bank and trade these. Remember in the room this morning when oil came down beautifully to a phantom and even took it out a little bit? We were actually short for a bit, but I also said that oil was heading up, not down. Can I get up and trade a couple of times at 5 a.m. with you and Linda? Basically, what we do on that, Gene, it's not an exact time. I get up usually when, you know, the spirit just kind of wakens me. It's almost like I get up sometimes at 5 o'clock, sometimes at 5:15, sometimes at 5:30. I get up at 6 o'clock. You know, just depends on when I'm woken up. But it's amazing, as a rule, when I get woken up, it's usually when it's retracing. I don't know why it seems to do that. But they're always retracing, so that's probably just something I'm thinking that it's doing. Okay? But our whole goal is teaching people how to see these trades in real time so that you can make this kind of moves with your money and, be comfortable with absolutely having great coin going into your coffers each and every day. It's Linda, the market waits for her. Well, the one thing about it, if a person really learns to read their charts and everything, it's pretty amazing how easy it can be, because I showed, where she's been profitable, but she can't do it without me yet. I know she can't. She will. That's why I'm teaching her, really, is just in case if anything ever happened to me. And that's our whole goal too, is teaching people to see these trades in real time and to make good trading decisions. All right, let's draw on our chart though. Let's say that you missed this. Now, I wasn't up this amount this morning. We didn't get up at midnight. We got up at 5 a.m., which was right in here this morning, little after 5. Just right in this little trade right here. And I don't remember her feeling any heat. Maybe, $30, $40, probably about it, because she was in one contract at first, and then I boxed it in for her. Okay. Now, let's say that you're not in a trade. Can anybody tell me where the next trade is on this chart? Anybody at all? Where do you think the next trade is on the chart? Well, draw on your charts. Let's go ahead and go back to our little black chart. Oh, we don't have a black chart. Let's make a black chart real quick. Let's just change this one to oil. All right, let it change to oil. Turn on our predictor. Turn off our predictors, that is, and let's draw on our charts. All right, let's see here. We are up here right now. We know where we're at, right? All right, we're up here. Look to the left to trade the right. I've got a swing at 33. I've got a swing at 23. Always look to the immediate left first. You got a swing right here, you can kind of tell. Let's draw it. Yeah, down here at 23. Everybody see what I'm doing on this chart? Just drawing on my chart. All right. So let's see here. You got 33, you got 23, which we've already got here, and you've got 18. Let's go ahead and draw one more on 18. All right, and let's see where this little puppy bounces. And by the way, our predictors are really good at predicting where this will go too. So let's turn this into a regular chart again, and let's see if we can get a trade. All right. Okay, so we got drawn on our chart. We got 23, it busted out. We got 33 right here that it hasn't checked yet. And let's just see what it does. Let's see if we can get one of those trades. I'll fast forward it just a little bit. See where our predictor's saying it's going? A little lower than 33, or maybe right at 33. We'll see. There's our mid-band showing up. What do you think? Predictor's saying there's a trade right here. What do you think? Anybody? Well, let's see. Let's go a little bit further. Lightning 3 swings. Now, in our room, if we open the room, this is 6 o'clock in the morning, so we obviously didn't open the room here, but does anybody see a box trade that you could take? Now, would you just fire an automatic long right here, or would you box it in? Anybody? I'd box it in. All right, at least a little 1, 2, 3 reversal. Now that you've got your resistance that was resistance now becomes support. You drew on your chart. It doesn't look like we're going to go down to this one because they'd have to break micro swing. See your little ABC? That's an identified swing right there, and they're testing it. Everybody see that? If you don't see it, draw it because it's there. See that little swing right there? They're testing that. Okay? So that is an identified swing, especially by the time it gets up here. So this should actually technically hold, and if it goes back above it, you should have a trade. Now, if they're going to break further, they're going to check more like this medium swing, and they're probably going to come down to at least 23 or even 13. Okay? Now, we also look at fibs. Let's see what our fib is. That's 38%. That's usually a pretty good area for a good move like that, almost 60 ticks to bounce. That's 38. I'd box it. All right, let's see if it'll work. Remember, we're just box trading the right way. What we're trying to do is not get sucked into a trade and give a bunch of this back. We're trying to go ahead and box it in the way we teach. All right, so Charles and I would actually look at this. Now, it's going to draw the box all the way up here. Okay, when I hit insert, see there? Drew it all the way up to there. All right, now if I was going to take this trade, I look to the left to trade the right. I see resistance right there at that line on the left. So if it takes that out with like a touch plus, let's just give it touch plus like 3 just in case, so we don't get wicked in and then taken right back out. All right, so if it goes above that box, above my line, in other words, it's holding support. If it does that, then I'm taking out resistance on the left. Let's see if that actually works. And we'll just go ahead and do 2. All right, we're at touch almost right now. There's touch plus 1 or 2. 3 will be 3 plus 1, and it would actually, there you go, you just got your trade. All right, now tighten your stop just in case, because this little swing right here, see on the left here, should actually hold. So you could even put your stop right there at exit on close. Now I'm only risking 6 ticks. Everybody see how I did that? All right. Now if it gets up there to this top, we're going to take some coin, and then we'll let our runner ride with this little swing right here. All right. Now notice with exit on close, keep in mind with exit on close, your trade that's at the broker is going to be at the line that's below. See, right now without exit on close, your stop is at 53.32, but if you turn exit on close on, your stop's actually at 53.20 at your broker, but it's here if it breaks the line. Okay, because exit on close simply means it has to just break that line, and it would take us out. All right. All right, let's give this a little bit of wiggle room. We will hold it if it doesn't break that little swing right there. All right, and let's see if we can keep this trade going at all. Everybody see how I boxed that in? That's the proper way to box those. Okay, but always look to the left to trade the right, because you're going to see the swings on the left. And those swings, even though they're minor, are pretty important. Okay, let's see if I'm missing any questions. Just one second. It hit me been 3 times already. I would be hesitant. Well, actually, if you get a real nice thrust up, don't be hesitant on that. Because if you go into it, you know, we weren't risking a lot. Now, see, it's coming down a little bit. Let's see if it takes us out. It's right at the swing. See, it didn't take us out. Now, I would usually probably add one if it even broke that little swing right there like that, myself. Simply because I see what it's doing. It's testing support right there. Now, I added a little early. I would have waited for it to break this little box. Let's take those off for just a second. I'll show you how I would do it. Look to the left to trade the right. You got resistance right there. They took it out, so now you have resistance right here. See that little swing right there? So just turn that back on and add. Touch plus, I did it, touch plus 0. That's fine. All right, and we got our stop in. Okay? That's actually the way you trade this little system right here. Now, Chris B sent an email earlier to Linda. Let me see if he's here. No, I don't see him. But anyway, I will do this in the webinar so he will see it later because it's being recorded. I want to show a particular little trade that he drew on a chart and how you would handle that trade. So let me pause this for just a second. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fast forward this thing because this was like in the afternoon is what this was. Okay, so we're gonna just fast forward to the afternoon. I think it was on crude oil. Let me get Linda real quick, and if not, I'll just talk to him later. That's not a problem because I don't remember exactly when his trade was. If it was like at 1 o'clock in the afternoon or when. So I'm probably not going to be able to do it. Let's see. When finished with Object Trader, how do you get back to Sim? Well, the way to get back to Sim, okay. First off, when you do this, see, these are our market replay. I'll just go ahead and filter active orders only. We got some active orders. But if you go in here to your file, you can turn your back to Global Sim. Now, if you've got a live account, you got to turn off Object Trader on any chart that you've got live account going. And the way you can do that, you just go to Strategy. Now, don't do this if you're in a trade, okay? Because see, this is in a trade. If I kill this right here, that will not kill that trade. Okay, so if you're going to go back to Sim and shut Object Trader off, the best way to do it is close it. All right, then go to your control center, and then you can actually take Object Trader off the chart. Okay, by just simply clicking the little arrow on it. That'll take it right off. Or you can just simply right click and take it off by remove it or disable it by going to false on the enabled. And then once that's done, now this is in Sim anyway because it's actually market replay. But by the way, there's a little trade that I called in the room this morning too. This is a little trade that actually went up just a little bit. And then they pretty much, they broke this box and they headed down a little bit. Oh, sorry. Sorry about that. I had that pause button. But anyway, on this right here, if you've got gray on your Object Traders, you're trading Sim anyway. But if you've got any chart that's green, be sure and turn them off by disabling them right here. If you'll disable them, then you can turn it to Global Sim. If you've got a live account on, it won't let you go to Global Sim. Okay? Or anything that's non-Sim. See, the way this trader was set up, let me just show you here. Non-Sim account will be in a sea green on your background on Object Trader. Okay, now if you want to change this, like let's say that you wanted, I don't know, like a chartreuse or something, I wouldn't advise it because that'd be pretty ugly, but I'll show you what it'll do. It won't do anything because we're in Sim. See, this will still be in gray. Okay, but if this was a non-Sim account, it would be in this color. This would all be in that color. Okay, let's see. So you only take the long trades because your boxes are all green. Mark, well, no, we actually teach a certain method of trading. Now, you can trade against the trend. There's not a question about that. Drawing trend lines and things, you know, could you actually short a trade, for instance, if it broke that trend line right through there and you boxed it and you took it to mid-band? Sure. But what we teach so that people can be nicely green each and every day is we don't go against the trend itself. And by not going against the trend itself, you'll find that you'll get your better trades by far. Okay? You know, for instance, if you go too much against a trend, you know, like right here, for instance, this is what? A phantom trade right here? Could that actually little trade pay off? Let's just see. I'll risk 6 ticks for it. Let's see if we can just get up to mid-band. I'll just go for right at mid-band. Just see if it'll do it. 9 ticks. Nice tight stop. Exit on close. Is it going to get me? Maybe. Maybe. And if it does, right? And then I'd put a real tight stop on it now, just in case, because you got a higher low. And if it stops me, say I'm only risking 4 ticks now. Okay? And by the way, if you get in the green right there, see where it's hitting that swing right there? What if I just wanted to close that and take $40? I can do that. You can just hit close on your object trader. Now, I probably shouldn't have done that because it's a phantom trade and it should keep going a little bit. But if it doesn't, you can always get out of the trade anytime you want. But the way we teach this, let's see, Mark, on your question, is, for instance, on this chart right here, all right, I like to look to the left to trade the right, okay? I see a swing right here at 32. Now, if they break that, you know, they're pretty much going to be heading down, but they're not necessarily going to be heading down with a vengeance yet. So we don't normally trade that until it breaks and then retraces, okay? You want to see how we actually traded that this morning, as a matter of fact? We actually did draw a line on our chart. Some of our people, we were already short, by the way. See this little box right here? I called a short this morning for people that wanted it, but also called this phantom trade right down here. And this little trade just barely gave some profit, but then it actually broke down some. All right, but let me show you. I'm going to just fast forward this, and I'm going to show you some trades that set up on this chart, because they set up all the time. Okay, notice how this turned red. All right, you turned red here. So could you actually take this trade, you know, short right here? Yeah, because see, it actually took out support right there, and you could put a nice tight stop on it just above that swing, just in case, with exit on close. Okay, and some of our people did just that this morning, except they shorted it up in here. Okay, but I also told everybody in the room this morning that until we took out 93, we're not really breaking down on what I call the longer term trend. See that lightning 4 or power meter 4? That's still green. Okay, so this little trade did work out, by the way. Oh, well, now this is actually, now keep in mind, I'm not talking about shorting this here. You don't have to do that. When this actually got this topped out here, right at the open, we got a nice little long trade. I called it in the room this morning. Some of our people took good 15, 20 ticks on that long that I called this morning. All right, but it did actually break down when it went back under mid-band. Okay, and we use the open of the box also because, you know, they can be going up all night and they can still head down at the open, and that's exactly what they did. Okay, let me show you a trade that I also called in the room this morning because I remember this. Some of our people saw this little trade. This is actually a magenta colored background or mid-band. So we're looking for what kind of a trade, Viper traders? Mid-band and even higher, right? So let's draw on our charts. We got a line right here. We've got resistance right here at 53. Looking to the left to trade the right. And that looks like it. So we're looking for a trade either here at mid-band for a rollover, or looking to the left to trade the right. We're also looking right in here. And could go a little higher. There is one right here, right there. Let's go a little higher because that could be a phantom trade right there. Now, could you have been long on this? Because I actually, in the room this morning, we talked about this nice long trade on a trend line break. Yeah, you could take that long too. Okay. But when we open in the morning, most every morning, if somebody just takes, you know, like a couple of contracts, see, here's our little trade setting up right here. This is called a phantom trade. It went below line 6. Put my stop at line 7. Going to risk just a little bit. And if it breaks this right here, you could actually box it and add if you wanted to by simply doing the little box. Short, touch, plus, well, we already got it, so we're fine. And then we'll leave our stop nice and tight on it. This is a true phantom trade. When it goes first time in after a trend change, this is what we call a phantom trade. And this little trade will add money to your account. It's a good little trade. All right. Came a little higher. That's okay. We're going to put our stop, as soon as it breaks this little swing, we're going to bring our stop lower. There we go. All right. Now, does anybody remember where I actually called a long on this trade this morning? Let's just kill this trade, because if you draw on your charts, does anybody remember this right here? We talked about this little trade coming down just below mid-band. We had a line drawn right here. And could you box this trade in to take a long trade if it broke the box? And I called that trade this morning in the room. And that's how we trade this. This is actually what we call a mid-band trade. Okay, see how it's actually kissing support level right there? Now, usually what I do is I'm already in one, but let's just go ahead and add one if it takes out that little box right there. And this little trade, by the way, I don't know if anybody remembers this, but oil took off in a big way this morning after that trade was called right there. But just think, rather than just jumping in at a line, isn't it better to actually box these little things nice and tight? Yeah, this was a phantom right here too at 823. Let me see. This is not a phantom here. This is a phantom here. Yes. Yeah, that's definitely a phantom. All right. Now, let's just go ahead and go over, though, and we're almost done, because I want everybody to see where the next trade is on this chart by simply looking at the Viper indicators. Okay, so I'm going to kill this trade, and let's see if we can figure out the next one. Some people asked in the room this morning, why'd you go long with the mid-band? Well, I mentioned that they were just retracing deeper, but they were still in an uptrend. This is still an uptrend. Okay, and even though this changed our background and everything, we're smart enough to box these in at these mid-bands. Okay, so let's see if you can get the next trade. I'm going to just simply let it do its thing. Okay, it's green. Does anybody see a trade on the chart? If you draw on your charts, you always look to the left to trade the right. I'm going to draw this one, look to the left. This one's a little higher, this one's a little lower. So I'm going to draw another line. And that's already hit that one, see there? So it's more than likely going to hit this one. See, because it's already checked 53.55. Could you actually buy that if that bounced off that line? You could. But what about that predictor? It's saying it's going right to predictor. I called this in the room this morning at 54. And we took that trade at 54. Anybody remember that this morning? So if you draw on your charts, everybody see how they'll come and check them? These lines were drawn in real time on these charts this morning in the room. And this trade was called at exactly, this line was drawn right here this morning in the room and was called at 54. And the way it was done was simply drawing on the charts. You had a swing at 53, you had a swing at 55, like that, right there. And you had this swing at 80 right here, like so. All right. Now, when they're really close and you're not even getting what we call a minimum criteria trade, try to go deeper if you can, because predictor will try to predict these for you. It's looking at this price action to figure out where that level is. Okay. Now, what if you missed that one? Does anybody see another trade on the chart? Let's kill it and let's see, and then we're going to definitely wrap. All right, let's draw on our chart. We'll get rid of lightning. We don't care about it right now. Lightning 2. All right. Let's draw on our charts. We've got a swing that it's already taken out at 71. We've got a swing at 66. And we got a swing at, looks like, I can't read that, but let's draw it. And all right, let's see if we can get this trade. I'll just fast forward it and see if it comes down those lines to get. And predictor, remember, will draw too. Mid-band's right there at 60. Mid-band went a little higher. Looks like it's going to go a little higher. right, 60, and then we got 66. So right now, this is a little sweet spot right here for a trade, mid-band. Right in here. If it goes higher, it's going to be here. Keep in mind that they can't take out this low, and if they zigzag, they can't take out the new low that they make. So now you're looking here. So I'd be looking right in here, and predictor will be drawing for us here in a bit. Let's see if we can get that. I'm going to turn it up real fast. We may not get it physically, but we're going to watch for it. Mid-band's right here at 66. Always look to the left to trade the right, and you're going to be amazed at how well you're going to be able to trade. There's your predictor right there. Could you box this? Let's don't do it right there. I'm going to try to get down to 66 right there at mid-band. So we're going to do touch +2 and see if we can get that trade. And there you go, you just got it. Everybody see where I drew on my chart? It's holding our support, 66. Always got to look to the left to trade the right. These things will do amazingly for you if you'll do that. All right, that's a perfect classic mid-band trade, by the way, and that was also called in the room this morning. Does Linda use the minor trade flashing bars, David? Well, basically, she uses dollars. She likes dollars. But, you know, I was saying in the room, and we got to hurry, what she likes is if she gets like $300 and goes above that, like $50 or $60, she will not let it go back below 3. If she goes above 4, like 450 or so, she won't let it go back below 4. Today she got above 5, 560, 570, 580, and it started pulling back a little bit. She got out. Guess why she also got out though? Because I drew on her chart, and she actually hit this little swing that I drew for her at 50. This area right here at this 51. It barely took it out, 55. But remember, I drew that in real time and showed you where it was going to go. But this is definitely a good way to trade, everyone. Learn to box them in. Nice tight stops, you know, just in case, because you can always get back in them. But don't put them so tight that, you know, you take a big old breakout trade and then put a big old loose stop on it either. But you have to give it at least wicks to close. You know, if it wicks, for instance, like you draw a box and it gets you into a trade and then it barely wicks above your box and then rolls again, that's still a good trade if you made a nice tight box. Now, if that was like a 20-tick box, I wouldn't advise it, because then you're giving it all back. But if you can draw these nice tight boxes like we drew here, perfectly drawn on the chart, you know, when will this trade break down? Anybody? Well, if you look at this right here, that's lightning 3, and this is lightning 3 right here. If they decided to break down, they break those. And what goes up doesn't go up forever, and they'll probably break them at some time. You can draw on your charts and see it. Now, it's probably after we close the room, but I'll bet you they do it, because they always do. I got to go on 500 times. We'll see if it does. Drawn on your chart, what do you think? 73? 71? See it? Little sweet spot. Right in this area right here. What do you think? It's a mid-band trade too. Coming down to support. Could you box it? You can't go any lower than here because you got a high, a low, and a higher high. So if they break this, they're heading down. They're not heading up. Okay, everybody see that? You're looking for a higher low. And you could get that trade too. Didn't get it yet. Still didn't get it. Maybe we'll get it at the bottom instead. Maybe we'll get it at the bottom. Yeah, we got it at the bottom. We'll go ahead and go with one more above 73 since that's resistance. Yeah, it's good enough right there. Okay. She likes to keep, a good 80% or better. Now, you can use Object Trader. If you want to have a webinar on this, I'll show you how to use this little tool right here. You can actually set Object Trader to do drawdowns, and it'll take you out of the trade automatically. You know, for instance, if you were up $500, 10% drawdown would be 50. You know, the moment it drew down to 50, it would fire a market order. If you wanted to give it 80%, you just change that to 20. And then you have to turn on the drawdown. I'll show you how to use that. Absolutely. All right. Thanks everybody for coming. Hope you enjoyed it. We're about 11 minutes over, but I think I answered a lot of questions. Appreciate everybody coming. And as far as the minor bars, David, on your question, you can absolutely use those bars. Let me show you how to do that. See this minor trade right here, for instance. See these little white bars flashing right here? That little swing, you can get out of that trade long before it retraces like that. See this one? White bars flashing, white bar flashing, white bar flashing, get out of the trade. Yeah, they work. They work quite well. I usually see them, so I don't need them turned on. But, you know, for instance, if you were watching this right here with your real live money, and you got in down here where I called it, and you're watching it stair step and stair step and stair step and stair step, couldn't you just keep moving your stop just underneath those little swings? And then when it broke the swing, see it double topped up there. If it breaks that swing, you're out of the trade. See there? You can just use the lightning. Okay? Thanks everybody for coming. Hope you enjoyed it. And we will trade this in the morning. And I think this morning we were spot on our calls. All right. Quantity is at 2. How did it fire off just one contract? I'm not sure. Was it at 4? I'd have to go back on the tape to actually see it. But if it's set on 2, it should actually fire 2. Unless it, popped a target or something like that. I'm not sure. Okay, the last trade, no problem. Okay, thanks everybody for coming. And this will be recorded and up on the site. Good night, everyone.